Every time you raise your tongue to pronounce a T or a D
or a C or an S or an L.
those are a lot of sounds you were taught to say with your tongue pretty high. And you were taught this because it's right, it's possible. You can pronounce English sounds with your tongue up here. But what tends to happen is these higher positions, they also raise your placement. How do you fix this? The problem with so many of these consonant sounds is that we can easily go back to our first language, what feels natural in our first language, versus what we really kind of need to do in American English. Your first language probably has a T sound or a
D sound or a Z sound or an S sound or an N sound.
Okay, I got lazy editing and I just stole that from earlier. You caught me. And it sounds similar in both languages, like things like that, right?
But similar doesn't necessarily mean the same.
T, t, d, d, z, z, n, n. Can you hear the differences between those? The first time I used a higher placement, and then the second time I used a lower placement, more with my diaphragm. T, t, d, d. And the problem is when you use a high placement, even just for a consonant sound, it can make entire words sound like they have a high placement. Pain, days, sail, pain, days, sail. Both are understandable, but the second one has more breath and a much lower placement. How'd I do it? Well, here is the big secret. I got my tongue out of the way.
What does that even mean?
There are a couple of techniques for this. The first is to use the mid front of your tongue to pronounce sounds against your top teeth, not the very tip of your tongue. So that right there is the tip. That right there is more the mid of your tongue. It's more back. You want to actually put the tip of your tongue right there against your bottom front tooth. Tight, tight, nine, nine, zoos, zoos. The second strategy goes a bit further. Limit the contact with your teeth completely, as in try not to have your tongue really even touch your teeth much. If that's hard, what you can do is you can curl the tip of your tongue down so it presses against the bottom of your mouth. I'll show you. Notice that the sound is going to become a little bit muffled and softer, but that's a good thing because this is actually going to be helpful for reductions and for quick phrases. It's going to help our vowels really stand out. T, tight, nine, zoos. And third, you can use, just kidding.
This video is not condoning the use of applying scissors to any body part.
Warning. From this point on in the video, the tip of my tongue is never going to touch my top tooth. See if you can repeat what I say with your tongue down. 6 friends. 6 friends. Too little. Too little. Bath soap. Bath soap. Number 1. Number 1. Regularly late. Regularly late. Didn't investigate. Didn't investigate. There's too little bath soap left. There's too little bath soap left. The detective didn't investigate the 6 friends. The detective didn't investigate the 6 friends. The number 1 problem is I'm regularly late. The number 1 problem is I'm regularly late. But what about
The secret technique.
I know this will go against everything you have heard from other American English teachers online, but having these lower tongue positions also makes it possible to say these sentences with your mouth mostly closed. There's 2 little bathtubs left. The detectives didn't investigate the 6 friends. The number 1 problem is I'm regularly late. Try for yourself and let me know if it's hard to try to keep your own mouth mostly closed. There's actually a trick to make it easier. Focus less on the consonants and more on the vowel sounds. Not sure how to do that? Well then, try this video here.